Welcome to Muffin News with your host, Muffin.
Welcome to another week of Pickems. It's week 6. I can't believe it. It's already week 6, and we have a fantastic battle to jump into. Now, before we get to the Pickems and I pass it over to the other Muffin, there's been a little bit of an issue. Unfortunately, another person has dropped the mighty Keldeo division. I know. Shocks, gasp, hold them all. Unfortunately, we have lost Vortex. They decided to drop. They weren't having fun with drafts anymore, and they decided to drop, which is fair enough. If you're not having fun, why force yourself through it? But in return, we are picking up a new coach. We now have Evan as our new coach, so they still have to do their week 5 battle. They've been given an extension. Muffin is also going to do his week 5 battle with Fungus, and there was one other week 5 battle that's still yet to be done. I believe it's Dittos versus Prince. I think that gets done probably after this gets uploaded, so at least it'll be done. But we move on to week 6. Evan has a completely new team. They pretty much dropped everything but 3 Pokemon. They left Val, they left Heatran, and they left Terrapagodos turtle thing. So we'll get into Muffin will get into what that looks like. Other than that, I won't hold you any longer, and I'll pass off on to Muffin. Thank you, Muffin, and welcome to Pick 6. Pickems week 6. I'm glad to be here, and we'll get right into it. First of all, we have Ego versus Brooks. Now, this is going to be a very, very exciting battle. We have Brooks, who is looking to continue their amazing lead. They beat the undefeated Martin to stop him having a clean sweep of the season. So, can Ego now put Brooks in their place? Now, it's actually, you might look at this and you might be like, man, this is super uneven. It's actually quite more even than you think, you know? With Corviknight, it kind of does shut down a few of these scarier threats that Brooks may have. Of course, you have Chandler, of course, you have Thunder T, but other than those two, you know, they still got to be very careful of what Corviknight and the defensive power that it has. You know, Ego does have other things like the Okidoki, the Masquerada is always a really good bring, and even the Talonflame could be a decent bring into this matchup. Well, Brooks obviously is always going to be relying on the main powerhouses of that team. We could be seeing an Ursaluna maybe come into this playoff, or we could see a Trick Room type of team also make their debut. Now, Brooks did just narrowly beat Martin. I wouldn't say it was the cleanest one. There were a few very scary moments here and there, but I think between the two, I think it's going to be a very even battle. You know, obviously Brooks has a few very big powerhouses, but if a few pieces fall, like the Chandelier, like the Thundy, that Corviknight, what really stops it? You might be saying, oh, doesn't Chenpow stop it? Does it though? A body person, it's not going to like a body person if an Iron Defense is, well, realistically, it just sits on the field against the rest of the team. So it'll be very, very, very interesting type of game, that's for sure. Maybe we'll see the Lantern finally come. I don't think the Lanterns come once at all, so I'd love to see same Cramorant. Maybe we see Cramorant gaming. We probably don't see Cramorant gaming at all, but overall, I actually don't know who I'm going to give the win to. I just know it's going to be a good battle. Up next is Bandito versus Martin. Now, this is going to be a very interesting battle. Bandito wanted to be the one to break Martin's winning streak, but unfortunately, Brooks did it for him. So now will Bandito... Can't talk today. Will Bandito be the reason Martin goes on a losing streak? Honestly, I think it'll be a very interesting game. You know, you do have the Bandito obviously has his stupid plant thing that in a different division absolutely stalled out a battle. I think it went to like 100+ turns and the thing would never die, and it was the reason they won. And then obviously you have Roaring Moon as well as a big threat. Tinkatongue on top of that being different terrors. Try and mitigate what that Regidrago can do, also being a Terra Captain. Honestly, I don't think this is going to be a super easy battle for Martin, but I think if I've learned anything, Iron Hands doesn't die. So Bandito really has to be very aware of what Iron Hands can do. It, like, people will underestimate it, but it just doesn't die. It can take if it can take a Psychic Fang from a Chien-Pao, it can pretty much take anything that this thing wants to throw at it. So don't think that you can just Roaring Moon acrobatics your way through it. I think Iron Hands will be a big roadblock if you're not careful against it. Other than that, I'm just trying to look at both teams. There's a few Roaring Moon checks. There's not many Sandy Shock checks, to be honest. You always gotta be careful that Scarf Darkrai, but with the Tinkaton plus the plant thing, I think that's enough to try and shut down Darkrai. Obviously, if a Nasty Plot goes off or something scary like that happens, you know, whole different story. Honestly, I want to say Bandito has this in the bag. It just comes down to, can he keep a level head? I think that's what this game will come down to. Who has probably the most level-headed going into this, and who can keep their nerves calm and not try and overpredict or try and or get too carried away, if that makes sense. So if Benito can kind of keep calm, remain on top of the battle, he'll be fine. But if something goes wrong, or if a random crit happens, he starts to crumble, I think Martin can capitalize on that a little bit. Martin is a very consistent player. And what I mean by that is he consistently knows how to use his Pokemon, and consistently drafts a very similar team most times. Thankfully, no Garchomp, because Martin loves drafting Garchomp, but being a very consistent player, he knows how to break teams down and especially capitalize on RNG. But it just depends if Martin will also keep a level head. But best of luck to both of you. Up next, we have Gen 3 versus Muffin. Now, this is going to be a very interesting battle because Muffin also has to do his Week 5 battle here. He's doing his Week 7 battle earlier because Ego can't do it the following week because of a wedding and other things. So he has 3 different CDC battles in this 1 week. So honestly, I'm terrified. But I mean, look, it's an Ice team versus a Chi-Yu and an Urshifu, which I think, to be honest, when you look at this team, you have to be very, very considerate of, because you can't really max out both your defense and your special defense. You mean you could, but you know, on top of the, he does have other defense like the Rhyperior, the Fortress might come, the Rotom, even things like the Inteleon could be a play. Or Florges to stop any shenanigans. It seems like they usually try and go for that Back's Veil sweep, so I think that is something that they might change up or consider changing, because not gonna lie, once you keep using that Back's Veil sweep and you keep using it throughout the season, people catch on and people start planning for it, whether it be to get rid of Veil straight away, whether it be other different ways, shapes, or forms, even things like that. There comes a point where it's like, maybe you should calm down with that. But I wish both of them the best of luck. I think it'll be a fun battle. Up next is Frost versus Ditto. Now, Frost is itching for a win. Can they finally get it? Will they be able to finally get the win? Now, funnily enough, looking at this team, the stupid 160 base Percheon actually looks quite decent here. It shuts down Blaziken. It shuts down Zarude with 106 defense. It shuts down Arbok. It shuts down Sizzle. It shuts down Donphan to a point. It even can shut down Basculin, leaving just about 4 Pokemon, 5 if Screamtail isn't a physical set, which isn't many. It isn't many. So if Frost can maybe play around that, he could potentially have a good win. Granted, it just depends if Ditto brings RNG, because RNG and Ditto are 2 things that go hand to hand. If Ditto can get RNG, he will win 9 times out of 10. Shout out to you, Ditto, just being able to use RNG to the fullest. But it'll be another very fun battle, regardless, and I hope... Look, I'm rooting for Frost to get that first win. That's all I want. Frost, I want you to get your first win, so best of luck with that. Then we have Fungus versus our newest player, Evan. Now, this is going to be a very interesting battle, because Evan now gets to use their brand new team, which consists of Terra Azelf and Terra Executor, whereas Fungus also has their team of Goda, which they'll get to use for Week 5, Deoxys D, and the Kamala. So that was a transaction made just before Week 5 ended. Also, just before just after my Pickems went up, so I couldn't change it up. Honestly, I think Fungus actually has a decent challenge here with the additional Weavile. You know, kind of puts Lando in its place, can put Polden in its place. Deoxys doesn't really want to deal with it either. So that's 3 Pokemon there. On top of the Val really being a good matchup for things like Prim, things like Dragapult, even things like Cinderace, Cinderace Bishop, and even the what's his face? Not Tornadus, not Thunderous, Landorus. I'm pretty sure I called it one of the other ones. Just note for Evan, I don't put the Terras up, but the Terras for Fungus are the Bishop and the Ariados. It should be those. I think if Evan can get through the Alomola, I think Fungus is going to have a much harder time, because recovery is going to be very much needed. And honestly, Fezandivity, you got to be very careful with Fezandivity. Poison and poisoning across the team is not going to look too well, to be honest. Who do I think will win? Look, honestly, I want to vote for the newbie. I want to vote for the new guy to come in and stir things up. But look, if Fungus plays as they always play consistently, I think they'll be fine. And oh, that's not it. So we have, I think it's it after. Yep, it's right after this. So we have Prince versus Aaron, and to be honest, Prince, go for it. Beat this boy. Slap him up. But for real though, I think Prince is gonna have another hard time. Not really because of things like, oh no, they have Zemzenta. I think Zemzenta actually doesn't have the best matchup here. Having so many, after it gets like loses its defensive stat, what does it really, or even against the laddie. But I think it's the Vibrava that they gotta be really careful of, because 1, 2, especially because it's a Terra, so 1, 2, a lot of Pokemon, even with Giga Drain, a lot of Pokemon do not like to 1v1 hit on top of Bug. So you pretty much only need Giga Drain, Buzz, Air Slash, and then one Terra move, and you'll pretty much be set for the entire game. Because I'm looking at this team, and it pretty much loses. So if Aaron can just play around that and get everything weak enough for Yamega to come in, it's pretty much sweep. So I think that could happen. But that'll be Pickems for me. I will pass it over to Muffin to conclude everything else. Have a good one and have a great week 6. Wow, thanks Muffin for that very interesting breakdown. A little bit longer than usual. Aren't you glad for that? And we had some very exciting battles. So we are getting closer and closer to the end. It is anyone's game at the moment. Looking at the standings, even though week 5 hasn't fully been completed, the standings are quite interesting. Still, anyone can make it at this point. I would tell you the standings, but at the moment I'm just looking at a white screen. My document has completely stopped working. So guess what I get? I get the white screen of doom, where it doesn't tell me the standings, but Martin still definitely isn't first. He's won enough games to stay there. So it really, I mean, first place will probably be locked down by Martin. Let's be honest here. It's just every other place is still up for grabs across everyone. So it'll be very, very interesting with, oh, I got here. Bandito being second, Brooks being third, Fungus is fourth, Ego's fifth, Ditto is sixth, Aaron is seventh. Our amazing Gen 3 man is 8th. Muffin being 9th. He could probably go down to 10th. Or even 11th, depending on how bad he goes. Honestly, probably from 5th place downwards, it's still anyone's match. Depending if Fungus and Brooks and Bedidu can continue to win, they're probably locked in as our top 4. But everyone else below top 4, it's anyone's game to make playoffs. Anyone can do it. It's still not too late. So best of luck to everyone there. Thank you all for watching, and please, you know, go watch Farizion's Pickems. It's much longer. Put on as you drive or do as a podcast. It's great times. Have a good one.